Yes, you can use a walking foot, a free motion quilting foot, and a ruler foot on the Bernette 35 and the Bernette 33 sewing machine. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and we're doing all the free video tutorials and learning this machine inside and out. And if you're looking for the complete list of videos, we've got a playlist link in the description below, plus a lot of links of things that we've talked about throughout these videos. Now, these feet are optional accessories that you'll want to find. Again, links are below for you to check out. And I was actually very impressed to see a ruler foot packaged for the Bernette sewing machines. So let's identify what each of the feet are and the differences. So first off, a lot of people will use the walking foot for when you're working through fabrics with batting and you have multiple layers. And when you sew, a standard presser foot would normally just push the fabric and the back layer starts to kind of slide and not keep up. Well, with a walking foot, when we put it on, you're going to see that there's toes that are going to walk on top. Well, they match the teeth of the feed dogs down below. So they kind of go forward and take a stitch. And you can actually use stitches that are both straight stitch and the stitches that are in the stretch category that kind of do forward and back motion. So there's no limit of what stitches that you can actually choose when you have the walking foot on. Kind of fun to do decorative work. So if you're stitching in the ditch or doing some straight line or doing some decorative stitches, I use this when I sew binding on. It helps keep all those layers again from sliding or not being even. And then also walking foot can be used when you have fabrics that are stretchy. And so when you stitch that it comes out a little wavy, again, a walking foot can do more of a step and grip and pull to the needle instead of pushing or stretching it out with the pressure of the presser foot. So if you're matching stripes or plaids, sometimes back in the day it was called a plaid matcher, and it has a very unique way that it needs to attach. So there's an arm on the side that will need to sit above the needle screw. So when I take off this foot and the shank, so yes, we are going to need a screwdriver, and we'll be undoing the screw on the side when we put that on. And we'll start with that one first. I also have in the machine a variegated thread or multicolored thread in the needle and a solid color in the bobbin. So that way we can even look at tensions and adjust as necessary. Sometimes when working with the free motion quilting foot, this is more of a hopping foot. We'll be lowering the feed dogs when using this technique. So that will be done with a lever that's down by your bobbin. So we'll do that. And this is actually then found when you are wanting to go in patterns or swirls or stippling. You will be moving the fabric under this foot, and it's all you for controlling the stitch length. So I'll identify some tricks along that way and how to put this one on. And then last, a ruler foot is traditionally 1/4 inch away from the needle, so from the edges, so it's a little taller foot. And this is designed to place a ruler, and then this slides across the ruler. So a lot of times for straight line, and then not having to twist and turn your fabric, you can move the ruler and then the foot will be guided by it. So we'll do all three of those in this video. So starting off with just taking the screw off the side. So if it is the first time that you've done it, I know I needed a larger screwdriver than the one that came with it. This one was a little small to get it kind of we'll just say loosened up. But once that's loosened up, this whole piece is going to come apart. And I'm going to give you a tip. I usually like to, this will separate, right, from your foot and the ankle. But if you store this away by itself, sometimes you kind of wonder, like, what was that for? But I always recommend to my students is store it as a unit. Then that way when you go to put this, switch it back to your standard foot, you know what you're looking for. It looks a little bit more useful. So we'll set that aside or put it in your accessory box. And then the walking foot has a little place, a little bracket that's going to sit around the post, and then this white arm is going to sit above the screw. So I'm going to actually keep my thumb underneath this arm, kind of keep it more vertical and out of my way as I go to slide it into place. I like to use my right hand and with the thumb holding that white arm up, set it above the needle screw, and then come around the post and so it is connected and lined up. A lot of times I can leave the screw on, but for today it is going to be easiest if I actually take that whole screw off, get the walking foot around that post, and then realign it and tighten it in place. Make sure you get that screw nice and tight, snug it into place, because you don't want that wiggling loose. One tip you're going to notice is because of the size of this unit, it's going to be hard to tell whether you've actually lowered it down onto the fabric or not. So if it isn't stitching right, it's just because you haven't lowered the lever in the back. Let's just start off with a basic straight stitch and see how those teeth are pulling the fabric in for you. Now usually I go to a longer stitch length, so I'm going to lengthen that out to 3. And again, you've got forward, you have back, everything is done the exact same way that you would do if you had a normal foot on. If you want to pick a different stitch, let's just do a zigzag, and you can have any of the settings that you wish. But the nice thing is it's just going to keep all the layers pulling in nice and even while it stitches. As I flipped it over, I'm seeing a little bit of the colorful thread from the top kind of getting pulled down to the back side. So what do we do to fix this? You're going to adjust the top tension. So since we don't change the bobbin tension, to make this side be a bit stronger, we're going to increase this up about 5 to 5.5, stitch again, and see if you get a stitch that you can't tell if you sewed from the back side or the front side. Next, let's switch to the free motion quilting foot. I'm going to put it back to straight stitch. It will not matter what the stitch length is because we're going to lower the feed dogs in just a second, and make sure that your stitch width is at 5 with the needle in the center needle position. To lower the feed dogs for free motion quilting, slide the accessory box off, open the bobbin case door, and take this silver bar, pull down, and push it to the right side. You notice those teeth go down, and just a reminder, when you do go to bring them back up and you push it back to the left, they don't engage until you actually take a stitch. You'll kind of hear a click, and then they come up after you sew one time. So that's always something people kind of freak out on because they move it, it goes down, but then they don't come up and they think they've broken the machine. But yeah, no problem. That is totally natural. But leave yourself a sticky note that you've lowered those feed dogs so you don't forget. So if it's a couple weeks between when you free motion quilt and when you get back to actually sewing, that you're not surprised or have forgotten that very important step. If that happens, your needle's just going up and down. Nothing is moving your fabric through the machine, no matter what your stitch length is. Again, you do need to remember to lower the presser foot, but the fabric is still free underneath. But lowering the presser foot engages your tensions. So if you sew with this up, yes, the fabric is free, but you're going to get lots of loops on the back of your fabric. So make sure that you get in the habit of lowering the foot. And now as you sew, and we're just on a straight stitch, you're in charge of moving the fabric. So if you sew really fast but don't move it very fast, you get little tiny stitches. And if you sew too slow and move your fabric really fast, you'll get ginormous stitches. So what you're looking for is some practice as you work to master the speed of your machine and match it with the hand movement of your fabric. When you're ready to stop, if the machine has not stopped with the needle in the down position, go ahead and lower it down so it can hold it. You can reposition your hands and get ready for the next time you step on the foot control. When you're done, bring your needle to the highest position, the take-up lever above the top of the machine housing, and lift up your presser foot. And let's just take a look at the tension on the back. Now I will tell you, if you get really long stitches, you're going to get what we call eyelash looking tension, and this is just where you need to slow your hands down and get more consistent stitches. But I'm still seeing a little bit, not much, of the top thread coming to the back side. So I'm going to take that tension just a little bit higher. Let's go all the way up to 6. And yes, it's not that the machine isn't doing tension right. Number one, I do have 2 different weights of thread in the machine, but free motion quilting does work with a little different elements because we don't have the foot actually holding down the fabric. But once you work with some practice, watch some free motion quilting videos and lessons, you will find that you too can create all those wonderful patterns even on the Bernette 35. I'm going to switch this foot to now the ruler foot and give you a crash course on what that foot's capability actually is. So rulers come in all sorts of shapes and curves. A very common one, of course, your first one should be a straight one. And after I put this foot on and lowered it down, what I'm checking is see how tight this is? I do have to adjust it. That's why I didn't make this so tight just yet. I'm going to make sure it goes all the way up so when the foot is down, which it is, there is movement of the fabric. So if you feel like it's kind of holding, you will find that you just need to make sure, because it's adjustable, that you have it set so it works just great. So you'll put your ruler down, and then as you stitch, you will guide the foot along the ruler. I'm going to sink the needle down because I'm going to pause, trim off my thread. And then here's the beauty of it. If I want a line to go this way, I just can move my ruler. I didn't have to turn my fabric. And then if I want to come back, I can have any direction I want to go. And then what you start to do is there are lines that you can follow. So if you want your next line to be, say, a 1/4 inch away, you can step up, sink your needle down, and then put the line on the previous stitching. I'm going to take one more stitch here. There we go. And then I can start to have equal stitching or parallel stitching depending on which way I am going. I do find people who are not proficient with free motion quilting to actually be better at ruler work and have better success. Again, take some online classes or watch some ruler work videos to learn more about all the possibilities, ruler styles you can get. They're just endless. So whether you're looking to do free motion quilting with a ruler or on your own, these 2 feet are ideal for your Bernette 35 or Bernette 33. And if you just want to do traditional straight line quilting where you turn the quilt as you go and just stitch, the walking foot is what you want to purchase first. If this video has been helpful, make sure you're clicking like when you're watching any of our free content. That is your way of saying thank you. And check out the list of all the videos that we have done on the Bernette 35 and 33 sewing machines. Happy sewing!